On tonight's show,
I'm here at Mansfield Hollow Park, where the community is coming together for a professor here at Eastern and the memorial fund created for his son. Coming up,
Andrew Meehan sits down with the president of Eastern's Photography Club. We have an update on a plane crash at Bradley International Airport. And Jarrett Soltis has highlights from one of Eastern's volleyball teams' recent matches. This and more on the October 3rd edition of ETV News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Julia Florence. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with breaking news. The first vaping-related death in Connecticut has been reported. The Department of Public Health says that the patient was between 30 and 39 years old. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced last week that the agency is aware of 805 confirmed and probable cases of lung injury associated with e-cigarette use in 46 states and the U.S. Virgin Islands. A specific cause of the nationwide outbreak of lung injuries remains unknown, but health officials are zeroing in on potential clues, including the prevalence of THC-containing products among cases. The state of Connecticut is investigating 6 news reports of illnesses potentially related to vaping.
The local community came together Saturday to honor the life of an Eastern graduate. Here's reporter Sammy Honeywell.
Where the legacy of an Eastern professor's son lives on through the community.
On Saturday, September 28th, the second annual Andre 5K took place in honor of Andre Kappa. Andre tragically passed away in 2017 while jogging near his home in West Hartford. An avid runner, he graduated from Eastern in 2012 with a degree in biology, biochemistry, and education. His career led him to Ram High School in Hebron, where he was a science teacher.
On your mark, get set, go!
This fun run was created for the purpose of keeping his spirit alive doing what he loved. His friends put this event together in 2018 and were able to do it once again this year.
Well, luckily we have a group of 5 of us that kind of work on it constantly, so we kind of have a lot of it dividing up, but it takes about a year for us to really kind of get everything down.
This year's race saw 150 people walking, running, and volunteering. The money raised goes towards a scholarship for biology majors with financial need.
It is about education, and it is about making education more affordable to others, so scholarship is something that is most logical.
Andre's friends and family traveled all the way from places like Hawaii and Idaho. He was known as a passionate teacher, a great runner, and a friend to all.
Andre was my boyfriend. We dated right before he passed away. He was one of the greatest people I ever knew.
It is difficult now to talk in a past tense, but my wife would say that he was the man. Yeah. He was caring, he loved other people, he was a loyal friend. That is what his friends would agree.
This 5K raised over $7,000, which will go towards the Andre Kappa Memorial Fund. If you're interested in donating, check out the Eastern website for more information. I'm Sammy Honeywell reporting for ETV News.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 36,750 people died on U.S. roads in 2018. Travelers Insurance sees the impact of these collisions on families, which led them to start the campaign, Every Second Matters. Yesterday, this project was brought to Eastern to help students understand and learn about ways to prevent distracted driving accidents.
Hundreds of students were on hand for Eastern's fall concert presented by Cab Sunday. The concert, hosted in the Geisler Gymnasium, was headlined by A Boogie as it brought fans from all around the area. ETV News cameras were inside the gym to get a behind-the-scenes look at the show.
Eastern women's soccer team changed a young girl's life with a special ceremony earlier today. ETV News' Tyler Madden has more from the Sports Center.
It was truly an amazing scene here just a little while ago as 11-year-old Wes Tarcone became an official member of Eastern's women's soccer team. Wes battles Dravet syndrome, which is a rare form of epilepsy that impacts 1 in every 15,700 people. And this was made possible through the work between the women's soccer team and Team Impact, a nonprofit that connects children facing serious or chronic illnesses with college athletic teams. And for Wes' mom, Kara, being a part of the team is more than just going to practices and games.
It's creating memories. Positive memories when we have too many hard memories. We have stress every day. It's unrelenting. So to have something to really look forward to bring us together and do things as all 4 of us instead of always dividing, because usually it's just my wife and my son doing activities or me and Wes doing doctor's appointments. This is none of that. We're all together as a family.
And on next week's edition of ETV News, we'll have a look at this entire event and how sports can bring people together. But for now, reporting here in the Sports Center, Tyler Madden, ETV News.
Eastern Connecticut State University is again the highest-ranking institution among Connecticut's 4 state universities in this year's U.S. News and World Report's edition of Best Colleges. This is Eastern's highest ranking, moving up 5 spots among public institutions over last year's rankings. For the past 35 years, the U.S. News and World Report rankings, which group colleges based on categories created by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, have grown to be the most comprehensive research tool for students and parents considering higher education opportunities.
On Tuesday, the 1540 Connection Group held a workshop at Eastern highlighting the importance of early cancer detection. The organization states that 1 in 3 people will get cancer in their lives, mostly people in their 20s, and if you notice a change in your health that lasts longer than 2 weeks, to consult with a doctor. For more information, go to their website, 15-40.org.
Eastern's Residential Outreach Council, or UROC, held a blacklight laser tag event on Tuesday. The Betty Tipton Room was transformed into a laser tag arena filled with props and music. UROC will be hosting plenty of events, including a trip to the haunted graveyard at Lake Compounds Sunday, October 20th. Tickets go on sale starting Monday and are $5.
College Consensus has recognized Eastern for the 2nd year in a row, ranking them among the best colleges and universities in Connecticut for 2019 and the best regional universities in the North for 2019. To identify standout colleges, College Consensus averages the latest results from the most respected college ranking systems, including U.S. News and World Report, along with student reviews to produce a unique rating for each school.
Eastern will host a 3-on-3 basketball tournament next Wednesday, October 9th, in the Geisler Gymnasium from noon to 4:30 p.m. in honor of late Eastern student Alicia Wiley. Wiley, who was an Eastern sophomore in 2013, was in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend. When she decided to break things off with him, things took a turn for the worst and resulted in Wiley's murder. The activities on the event are designed to promote discussions of relationships between women and men on campus by incorporating sports and education on interpersonal relationship violence. To sign up and participate in the basketball tournament, go to www.imleagues.com/EasternCT. Registration will be open until tomorrow. Students who attend the event will also have the chance to enter raffles, win gift cards, and other electronics such as TVs. Staff and faculty are also welcome to participate in the tournament.
When we come back, we have another edition of ETV News' One-on-One as Andrew Meehan recently sat down with the president of Eastern's Photography Club. Stay with us.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Here we go, the butterfly. Ready? Ooh.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps! Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Meehan recently sat down with Jacob Grzywinski of Eastern's Photography Club. Take a look.
Welcome to ETV News One-on-One. I'm Andrew Meehan, and tonight I'm joined by the president of Eastern's Photography Club, Jacob Grzywinski. Jacob, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So how did you first get involved with the photography club?
That's actually the reason I came here. I started looking at clubs, you know, it's a big part of why I go to a college. And I'm so passionate about photography, and a lot of the other clubs, this club really got me interested too, but I love photography again so much that I wanted to come here. Central didn't have that, URI didn't have that, so this was just a top priority.
So how long have you been an e-board member of the club?
This is my first semester as president or an e-board member, so about a month.
And what are some of the things that photography club takes part in on campus?
So we try to get clubs to reach out to us to do services, take photo shoots, kind of have fun. We don't want to just be isolated as a club. We want to reach out and do things. We want to take the club members on trips. Boston, we went to Boston last year. We were trying to go to New York City this year, Salem. There's literally a list and a half for that, and we really, we just want to have fun.
And so what are some of the things that students can take away from joining a club like this?
It's everything about experience. We don't want to just come in and talk, sit around in a circle and talk about photography. We want to get them out there, walk around campus, go down the Mansfield Hollow, take some pictures, take a van. We want them to actually enjoy and experience it as much as I do and the rest of the e-board members do.
So what would you say to a student who may not be very experienced with a camera but wants to join a club like this? We want them to experience things. The first few meetings so far, we have decided to do like videos, just explaining the basics, not actually teaching them yet, because not everyone, again, has a camera. Again, a phone can be a camera. You can use a 35mm camera. It's really anything can be a camera nowadays. And we strive on trying to provide that for people, because not everyone has access to a camera. They are expensive, and even if you don't take pictures, it's a fun club. So how can students get involved with the club?
Well, we want them to come, and so we decided this year to do like a split week. So one would be on a Monday, next week would be on a Tuesday, because some people have conflicting schedules, and that's something we noticed last year. And the members who returned this year, since I'm new, they were like, the numbers were down. A lot of people were having conflicting schedules, so we decided to do the 2-week, and we cover the same info each week. It's not anything different, so you're not missing anything. So if they do really want to strive and come out and experience what we all love to do, then I'd consider reaching out to the Instagram, or there should be posters around campus that kind of explain it. And, you know.
And that's going to do it for tonight's One-on-One. Once again, I'm joined here by the president of Eastern's Photography Club, Jacob Grzywinski. Jacob, thanks again for your time.
Thanks.
Students can follow the club on Instagram at ECSU Photo Club. I'm Andrew Meehan. Now let's send it back to Connor and Julia.
Still ahead, we take a look at the deadly plane crash at Bradley International Airport. Don't go away.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Right now, my heart really goes out to, the families who are waiting. And we're going to give them the best information we can as soon as we can in an honest way.
Governor Ned Lamont yesterday, just hours after a B-17 bomber crashed at Bradley International Airport in Windsor, killing 7 of the 13 people on board. The vintage military aircraft was trying to land Wednesday morning at Bradley International Airport when it crashed at the end of a runway. The World War II era bomber, called a Flying Fortress, belongs to the nonprofit Collings Foundation. That's a preservation group dedicated to promoting civil and military transportation. The aircraft was scheduled this week for the foundation's Wings of Freedom tour, where civilians could buy flights on the plane. Authorities are still working to identify all the people who died.
Officials say a third person has died from Eastern equine encephalitis and a fourth is in the hospital. The latest patient, who fell ill in September, was a resident of East Haddam. Triple E is a rare virus transmitted by mosquitoes. The CDC says there are usually just 5 to 10 human cases reported in the U.S. annually, with roughly 30% resulting in death. This year, there have been uptick in the numbers of reported cases, nearly 30 across several states.
Johnson & Johnson has reached a $20 million settlement agreement with 2 counties in Ohio. The company made the announcement Tuesday, ahead of a landmark opioid trial scheduled to start later this month. The agreement removes Johnson & Johnson from the federal trial that combines nearly 2,000 cases involving cities, counties, communities, and tribal lands. The lawsuit accuses drug manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies, and practitioners of shipping hundreds of millions of suspicious opioid doses over 20 years to their jurisdictions. If this agreement is finalized, Johnson & Johnson would provide $10 million to Cuyahoga and Summit counties. $5 million would go towards reimbursing legal expenses as well. And the company would also give more than $5 million to nonprofit opioid-related programs for the counties. Johnson & Johnson said in a statement that it acted responsibly with its products, and the settlement is not an admission of liability.
College athletes in California will have an easier time getting paid for endorsements under a new law just signed by Governor Gavin Newsom. The measure would give student athletes the ability to benefit financially from their name, image, and likeness. The Fair Pay to Play Act takes effect January 1st, 2023. Currently, the NCAA bans student athletes from taking any money while playing college sports. That while college and universities can make millions promoting their athletes, the NCAA hasn't commented on the act yet.
The Autism Cares Act was signed into law Monday by President Trump. It provides $1.8 billion in funding for autism programs at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, National Institutes of Health, and Health Resources and Services Administration. The bill was sponsored by Representative Chris Smith and Representative Mike Doyle. The CDC says about 1 in 59 children have been identified with autism spectrum disorder, and it's about 4 times more common among boys than girls. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges.
When we come back, Jarrett Soltis will be here with a look at one of the volleyball team's recent games against UMass Boston that highlights next in sports.
Just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that after 75 years, Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, Wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Julia Florence.
And I'm Connor O'Malley. We're joined here by ETV Sports' Jarrett Soltis. Jarrett, good evening.
Hey, Connor and Julia, good evening to you both. The Eastern Connecticut State volleyball team was in action this past Friday night as they took on the Beacons of UMass Boston in a highly anticipated Little East Conference matchup. The Eastern Connecticut and UMass Boston, the top two teams in the LAC preseason poll at the beginning of the season, set to be a good one Friday night. Early on in this one is going to be Sierra Orr leaving one up for Abby Stern as she gets that one to go for the Warriors as they look strong in set number one. Later in that same set, it's going to be set point for the Warriors. Stern's going to get it over to Orr, up for Anna Berry. Nice kill there for Berry as Eastern would take set number one. Then in set number two, a lot more of the same for the Warriors, as this time Elytra Long is going to get it over to Orr. Then up for Lydia Naderno, nice soft touch over the net for Naderno, as Eastern looks strong in set two. Then to close out set two, set point here for the Warriors, Elytra Long. That one's going to be blocked out of bounds by the Beacons, and the Warriors would take a commanding 2-0 lead. Then probably the most exciting point of the game, keep an eye on Eastern libero Madison Bell. She's going to hit the free ball here. The Beacons are going to recover nicely. Then she's going to come back into the play to make a diving save there on the tip play. Then just when the Beacons think they have a kill, Bell's going to be there once again for another diving save. Great play by the LEC Defensive Player of the Week. Then later in that same point, Mackenzie Managia, a nice two ball there. Crowd really got into it as Eastern looked strong in set three. But the Beacons would not let that bother them. As Mallory Reed, she's going to get that one to go for the Beacons as they would take set number three. And then in set number four, it's going to be service here for the Beacons. Elytra Long can't handle this serve as that's going to sail out of bounds as the Beacons would take set number four. However, in set five, it was all the Warriors. The service here for the Beacons is going to be Bell, getting it over to Orr. Then up for Lydia Naderno, she gets a nice soft touch to go into the empty two spot. Nice play from Naderno as we saw her do that all game. Take another look at that one. Naderno elevating nicely, getting it past the outstretched arms of two Beacons blockers. Eastern would win this game 3-2. They moved to 7-5 in the season, 2-0 in conference, while UMass Boston would fall to 4-9 and 1-1 in conference. ETV Sports' Anthony Grancelli caught up with the player who sealed the deal for the Warriors in that match point, Lydia Naderno. Take a look.
Hello and welcome. I am joined here by Lydia, who is our star of the game. Now, Lydia, last year you were injured. How does it feel coming into this game, doing what you did out there? You had 10.5 kills. How does it feel to be back and ready in an Eastern uniform?
Yeah, last year was definitely a rough one, but it feels a lot better to be back, like helping my team again. So
that's great. That's great. Now, when you guys went up 2-0, how did you guys keep your composure and know that you guys put this away, even though you guys went down 2-2 at that last one?
It's just important to put it behind us, focus on the next game that's in front of us, and just put all our effort into that game.
And what did you see in your last kill that was the game winner, actually?
I was gonna hit, but then I saw an open spot, so I was like, I might as well just try for it. So it worked.
Awesome. You did a great job, and thank you so much for joining me. Back to you, Dom Conti. Thank you.
The next game for the Warriors takes place this Saturday as they travel to take on the Huskies of Southern Maine in a Little East Conference matchup. That game is set to get underway at 12 o'clock. A few other Eastern teams were in competition this week as well. The men's soccer team traveled to UMass Boston last Saturday, where they took care of the Beacons 3-2. Then Wednesday afternoon made their trip up to Rhode Island College, where they suffered their first loss of the season, losing 3-2. The field hockey team would suffer two tough losses, losing to Keene State 5-0 last Saturday, and then being taken down by the Corsairs of UMass Dartmouth 1-0 this past Tuesday. The volleyball team followed up the win that we just saw last Friday with a 3-1 win over Rhode Island College. That's all for this week in sports. Connor, Julia.
Thanks, Jarrett. That's it for this week's show.
Thank you so much for joining us. To keep up to date with all things ETV News, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Julia Florence. We'll see you next week, Eastern.